Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. Okay, so this is a two-parter. I went a little over, so I'm gonna probably tie in some loose ends that you're not going to be getting yet, but you're going to be hearing them in pieces with the 40 reasons, because breakups are hard, especially when for some of us we're in fear because either we have undiagnosed disabilities and they're getting worse, and everyone's telling you that no one's ever going to want you, love you, or marry you, or you're getting worse and you want to be able to say that someone wants to be with you, someone wants to be in a relationship with you. Or the stereotype, and like, especially when there is a single woman, men always say there's something wrong with her. But then when it is a single man, sometimes they say there must be something wrong with him, but they don't get the same clap back. They don't get the same, like, even political in the last election, they kept blaming women. They kept calling like this, like, either single moms or the cat lady women, but did they ever bring up the men? Yeah, they didn't. They loved blaming women, which is another reason I think that even when some of them at some of the rallies had the nerve to say Kamala needs to go back to her pimps. I've said this in a few episodes, but I'm saying this because a lot of people don't listen to politics. A lot of people didn't know this. A lot of people don't know how much they degraded her and dragged her. But it's like, and then they kept calling her stupid. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I know not all lawyers are smart, because yeah, Giuliani, yeah, look at what he's doing now. But anyway, but it's like they kept wanting to degrade her and put her down. And they kept calling her a liar because she didn't have McDonald's on her resume when she's looking for a lawyer job. And to me, I'm like, okay, you try to call her stupid, but you're just showing your ignorance and highly uneducated mind. It's like, really, no one taught you how to put a resume together. How do you say no one taught you without saying no one taught you? And when it comes to my relationships, especially with Mr. NoHeart, whenever I was trying to get ready to do something, whenever I wanted to, because I've always wanted to start my own businesses, especially because a lot of jobs didn't want me because of how I walked or because I'm Black. Some people are like, oh no, that's not true. Like, if you don't know, then just be quiet. If you're not willing to listen, because I've already told some of the examples in my episodes. If you don't want to listen, just stop. It's like, especially when you go to job interviews and they ask me specifically. It's like, I know this happens to other lighter complexion African Americans too, but when they ask you which parent is white, or where are you really from, or where are your parents really from, or oh, you must have an accent, you must not be from here, and then I ask them why, and then they kind of hint that it's because I'm Black in America. Black people in America aren't supposed to talk like me. I was like, I literally had, it was at a school that I had this interview, but the white principal, because I met the principal, like, he was the one that mentioned it. And I remember, like, either the HR or like, there was a therapist, an HR, and another teacher in the room. And I just remember one of them was Black. And I just remember the Black woman just like, ooh, like, if she sues you, ooh, I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. Ooh, if she sues you. But I've just learned, if they don't want me, I don't want to be there. And it's like dating a guy who, whenever I got a great position, when I like, oh, you know what? In this episode, I said I was gonna dive into the novel, so I'm gonna bring it up now. And yeah, this is before the actual episode, but I'm gonna say that there were so many reasons, and especially at the end when he kept gaslighting me, telling me it's my fault that I'm ending it, that it's my fault of it not working out, that I did not try hard enough, and that I just have to wait until I'm able to drive to him for things to get back together, even though he was using me the entire relationship and degrading me and making me feel like garbage. And here, like, the novel is the example. And it also, like, I'll say the end part too, with part uh part 3B, because yeah, you need to know. But I've told you guys that I started writing my novel. I'll share the title once I get the cover. Like, actually, no, I have shared the title, but I'll save it for another day when I like really. I want to have a celebration episode when I get that together. But it took me 2 to 3 months to write it, and this is while working 2 or 3 jobs. And there's no excuse, because some people it takes years to write, and some they're able to get it done quickly. It's like, hey, I can uh, I congratulate everyone who has accomplished writing a novel, a book, a children's book, everything. People don't know the details in a children's book, especially. I've had people like, you only write children's books? How immature. Oh, you must not be as smart as you think you are. Um, well, all right, ignorance. Okay, whatever. But I put in tons of time, and a lot of the times over the weekends while he's playing his video games, I'm on my laptop. I'm researching different things to put into the novel. And since it's a mystery, sometimes I'm like, okay, like, what about the language and the metaphors and the play on words? And so I'm doing my thing. I'm getting into it. I'm creating themes and everything. So I'm finally done, and I'm so happy. And throughout those 2 or 3 months, he sees that. He's watching me work on it. He's like, "Oh, you're still writing your book?" And I just nod and say, yep. And the night that I finished, and I was like, "Oh, so are you gonna read it sometime?" And I offered to share the document with him. He was like, "Oh, maybe another week." And so his oldest daughter and a couple other people I know started reading it, and they were like, "Wow, this is really good. Wow, yeah, I like this, and you're really good. You're talented." And I was like, "Thank you." And it felt good because, especially since my mom passed away, like, she, if you guys have listened to the episodes, you know she told me if I ever try to publish a book, she was going to throw me out the house. If I decided to be an author, it's like, yeah, before or right after I finished my bachelor's, I wanted to, while I look for work, start writing my books to start publishing, because I was like, that'll be at least, like, it may not be enough money to live off of, but if I publish my books, that'll be extra money. That can at least be a little money on the side or something, get my name out there. But my mom said that she will throw me out the house, and or she would charge me rent, and a high rent, so high that I would quit writing, because she didn't want me to be an author. And that still really hurts today. And my ex knew this. So after, like, and that's the part that hurts. He knows some of the awful things I've been through. I've told him, and that's one reason why I say he didn't like me, because I realized he didn't use my trauma to support me. He used it against me. He used it to gaslight me. He used it to traumatize me. Because 2 or 3 weeks, like, I was like, "Oh, so when do you think you'll be able to read it? And which email address do you want me to share it with?" And finally he was just like, I'll only read it if you actually publish it. What? Excuse me? I'm only going to read that if you actually publish it. So you saw me week after week putting my heart into this. You know my bachelor's is in English, and since I was a little girl, I said I want to be an author. And then you know all the stuff my mom did and said about me. And it's like, but now you're not going to. And then in college, like during college, I had a poetry class and I wrote a poem, and my professor was like really impressed by it. And I share this poem with him. If you've been listening to my episodes, you already know what he did to that. Yeah, you already know the story. So I feel like one of the main reasons I broke up with him because he was never going to support me with my dreams, my goals, nothing. He wanted me to suffer. He wanted me to just grow old without achieving anything in life. He hated that I have 3 degrees and 3 certifications. He hated that. And that's one reason why when his mother told me the only reason I got into college was because I'm black, he sat there. He didn't defend me. He just sat there like, or he was in the basement playing pool, but he heard it. He ran upstairs. But I think he thought I might do something to his mother. That's why, like, at first I thought he was going to run up to have my back and to support me. But I realized no, he only ran up so he could protect her because he thought I might do something to her. I'm not going to lay a hand on that ugly white woman. I'm not going to lay a hand on a Karen, especially an old Karen, especially when I'm in Lake City, Michigan, where it feels like a sundown town. And part of me is wondering, like, some of these people probably have ropes in their closet. But anyway, I'll let you listen to the episode, and I'll do the second half of the whole book novel thing in part 2. Thanks. Okay, so this may be the last episode for the end of the relationship, but there's so much more to it, so that's why it's going to be at least 40 episodes because there are at least 40 reasons why I broke up with this man. And a man with no heart, almost literally. So, okay. And if you're new, hi, hello, how are you? Just know I talk about politics. I talk about current events. I talk about dating nightmares, especially my 2 long-term relationships, 5 and 7 years. Yeah, dating while undiagnosed disability. But speaking of disability, I talk about a lot of the disability nightmares that like I've been through physical and mental trauma like you will never believe to the point where yeah, like I can't even put it in short words, so I need to get ready for the episode, but just know or I know some people probably ask, why did you date this guy? Why did you date him for so long? When you date while with a disability and an undiagnosed disability, everyone tells you you're worthless, or, well, maybe not everyone, but all the people I found out that a lot of the people who won't tell me that I'm worthless are the ones that want to use me and take advantage of me because they know how other people see me as less value. They see me as no one else is really going to like me. So now they can jump on and see how much they can take and take until I'm depleted. And yeah, that Mr. NoHeart and Mr. Lock a Key, that basically describes both of them. So, okay, here we go. And I might miss some details. Like I said, it's so complicated near the end of our relationship. Because, okay, I know in the last episode I had you guys guess how many months did it take for him to message me. So if you haven't seen that episode, please go back and watch parts 1 and 2. It's a lot. But okay, I'm going through the medical tests and I'm trying to get diagnosed. And I basically, like, after I get that text message from him, I'm like done. I basically just tell him, like, okay, we're done. I'm tired of this. He, for some reason, he always loved gaslighting. That was like the only talent he has grown to have in his life. I guess because he took advantage of his white privilege so much that he probably ran out of fuel of privilege, so that now he had to go and learn a talent that would brainwash or traumatize other people. And that was the only way that he would be able to be like looked up at or gain some power or whatever. That's how it felt. But when he texted me, he he gaslit me. Well, he thought he did, because it used to be to the point where I didn't defend myself and I was just like, okay, yeah, whatever, it's my fault. Like in the last episode, yeah, when I was cleaning up around the house, like I was working 2 or 3 jobs during the week. And so over the weekend, like my mom fighting the beast, the monster of cancer and everything. So like I would get up a little late because I'm exhausted. 2 or 3 jobs, I'm exhausted. But then I would try to vacuum and clean up around the house, do as much as I could. And I wasn't fast enough for him. So he would start texting me or even calling me if he was really annoyed. Where are you? How much longer are you going to take? What's taking so long? He didn't care that my mom was fighting cancer. He refused to see them. So he continued that pattern because after my major surgery, he not one time came to see me, came to visit me, but then he would have the nerve to tell me that I need to see his family soon. Well, in my opinion, I'll say this at the beginning. In my opinion, they're no good, bigoted, racist, corrupt, just naive. And it's like a piece of proof I've mentioned before. His mother loves Candace Owens. Loves Candace Owens. It's like, I still believe that like both of them should write Candace and let them know. Divorce your now husband and marry him. Marry my ex. Because every time I go up north, Candace says there's no more racism. Candace says that it's your issue, your problems, and black on black crime. And she would, like, one time she said, okay, well, give me your phone so I can start sending you videos about what she says. And I would look at her, I was like, no, thank you. No, but I really think you need to learn. Okay, now, mm. And her family members or his family members would take turns, like whenever he would leave, because it got to a point where he says I'm not allowed to talk about politics when I don't bring it up. They're all Republican. They're, I think, MAGA. Like, yeah, it's like they sound MAGA. They might deny it, but the way they talk and the ignorant, stupid, fascist, just bit. When I say these people are racist, no good. Anyway, this is all in my opinion. I repeat, all in my opinion. But all of a sudden, when he leaves the room, they start coming up to me, taking turns. Oh, I see you posted this on Facebook. Why do you think this? Why would you think this? Don't you blah, 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 blah. And what about the immigrants? I don't think we should have as many immigrants. And I don't think we should do this. And it's like, oh, don't you think the homeless are lazy? And don't you think, and I'm just like, okay, you have your opinion. I have mine. And you guys keep trying to turn me into a Republican, and that is never going to happen. Never. And it's really ironic how sometimes, like, they would talk all this Republican stuff, but then when they start talking about the Bible, or especially when they try to put down people who are Indian and Muslim, the things his mother said about Muslim people. But then they want to start talking about church. Oh, I was just like the gall, the just ignorance and oh my gosh. But anyway, it's just so he would start gaslighting me and trying to tell me it wasn't me that wasn't messaging. We didn't message each other. No, no, no. Mm-mm. For the last 2 or 3 years of the relationship, I kept telling him, I'm not your mother, I'm not your maid, I'm not your waitress. I'm not like, I think there was a fourth one, but I kept telling him that. And I'm just like, other than when you need me to come over to your house quicker or faster, other than when you need to borrow my money, when you need me to feed your children, when you need my assistance, those are the only times you call me, is when you need something from me. But other than that, I'm the one who calls you every day after work to see how you're doing, to make sure everything's okay. I'm the one that tries to call you over the holidays, but then you tell your family that I don't want to talk to you over the holidays because I'm with family when I, like, yeah, your mother and your sister. And I think another family member told me this. And when I corrected them, they got real quiet. And I realized, like, there, I know after a certain year, everyone's just started telling me no one would talk about me, and I'm like, I know this is a lie. I know that, like, with how much they were trying to brainwash me into trying to be a Republican, and especially they hated when I got the position to be a part-time professor or adjunct professor, and they hated that, and they kept telling me that the only reason I got that job was because I was black. And but then I was like, well, I have two masters too, one of them being in the field, and I've worked in this type of field for 12, 13 years. And it's like, yeah, but you still only got it because you're black. Oh, so he kept texting me that it was my fault. He kept telling me, or not. He never called me. The last time he called me was. Trying to see if I can remember the exact date. Actually, like, it was right before Christmas because he had to come by the house and give me the money, but he also had to call to drop it off because he wanted to make sure his oldest daughter didn't see the inside of my house. And because his oldest daughter asked if she could get out of the car too to give me a hug, and he lied to her saying no, that I'm too busy or I don't want anyone at the door. But then when I saw him, I was like, can I give your oldest daughter a hug? And he said no, that they really want to see grandma. But then he forgets let's see, I think she was 17 or 18 around that time. She has a cell phone, everything. It's like, but while he wasn't talking to me, she was still talking to me. And she was like, yeah, I asked my dad if I could give you a hug, if I could say hi and Merry Christmas. But he said no, because you don't want anyone at the front door. And I was just like, how stupid does your father sound right now? Really? I was like, I wish you would have texted me or called me so I can right then and there catch him in his lies. It's like, but now that we broke up, she hates me, so even though she knows he lied to me all the time. He gaslit me all the time. He only used me and took advantage of me. That was basically my job, was to be used. And so, okay. I remember, like, with the text messages, because yeah, once he texted me that one, the Magic School Bus text, he's blaming me, telling me that I didn't message him and that I didn't call him. And I'm like, hold on, you have never called me since. And I remember I said the date because I was like, you needed to drop off the Christmas money. Or, well, he calls that my Christmas present. Him paying me back the money he owed me, what that was my only Christmas present. And maybe some stale cookies. Yeah, he like those stale cookies you get from the vending machine. Yeah, he put some of those in there. They were disgusting and nasty. Anyway, so yeah, and that I bet he went up north and told his family that he gave me money for Christmas or something. I know he lied some kind of way. But if any of them ever listen to this episode, no, my Christmas present was the money he owed me. And if they're still listening, he owes me hundreds of dollars because all of the times he would last minute tell me he doesn't have enough gas money for the week to get to work. All of the weeks, at least 1 to 3 times a month. And I'll say over 5.5 to 6 years, because it wasn't at the very, very beginning. But once he saw how hard I worked and that I worked multiple jobs and I was trying to pay off my student loans, I was trying to start investing my money so then I can try to get my my future put together. That's when he was like, okay, I'm gonna use her. She has extra money. She doesn't buy expensive things in order to be responsible. So I'm going to use some of that money she saves. So I was stupid in that part. I should have just let him run out of gas. I should have. But I didn't want him to not be able to see his daughters. I never wanted his daughters to think of him as a deadbeat dad. I didn't want his ex-wife being like, he's broke. He doesn't have a penny to his name. Oh, I'm doing better than him. And so it's like, I was trying my best to make sure that he didn't have to go through that. But I was stupid. I should have let that gas tank run dry. Oh. And if some people disagree, write in the comments. I don't you don't know how many hundreds. And right now, with publishing my book, writing my book, I could be paying an illustrator for my children's books. A just there's a few, even with some of my projects I need certain services with. And all the audio books I'm going to need to pay for somebody too. And it's frustrating and annoying that I could have paid, with some of those projects. If I had that money, I would have been able to pay that off. No problem. And so, anyway, he keeps blaming me. And so then I'm like, since we're broken up, since I'm done, this is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too. If you've watched the whole episode, if you can drop a pancake or some rice or something, I'm craving breakfast or rice. I don't know why. And I love making breakfast bowls with rice and chopped up sausage with, oh my God, I had rhubarb and strawberry jelly and pomegranate jelly, raspberry too. Those are my favorites. Anyway, it's now I'm getting hungry. I might make that tomorrow. It sounds so good right now.